Uh, I am myself Pompey Ghosh, head of the Department of Botany, Shiva Bharati Mahavidyalaya. Dr. Devabroto Das, admin Flora and Fauna Asia Facebook group and associate professor, head of the Department of Botany, Lalgarh General Degree College, Jhargram, and Dishtikon organization. Welcome all of you in this webinar. Today's topic is biodiversity of spiders in Western Ghats and overview. Western Ghat is very well known to all of us, and it is the abode of exceptionally high level of biological diversity and endemism. This mountain chain is recognized as one of the world's 8 hottest hotspots of biological diversity. So welcome our today's speaker, Dr. Shobhik Sen. He is our guest today and speaker. He had done his PhD on spider of Northeast from Calcutta University. Scientist D at Western Ghat Regional Center, Kozhikode, Kerala. He has discovered several species and a new genus spider. So welcome, Dr. Sen. Please, Dr. Sen.
Thank you so much.
Yes, please start, sir.
Yes. Hope I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. A very good evening to you all. A very good evening to you all. It is an excellent initiative of Flora and Fauna Asia Facebook group, Botany Department Shiva Bharati Mahavidyalaya, Khapgiri, Jhargram, and District Organization Purbo Mednipur by organizing a series of webinars on biodiversity. I must appreciate you and your effort, and I am very much privileged to be a part of the 6th webinar on biodiversity. Thank you so much for selecting me as a resource person. Today, I'll try to throw some light on overall spider diversity of Western Ghats and share my limited knowledge on these arachnids. Arthropoda is the largest phyla of animal kingdom. Among the arthropods, class Arachnida includes spiders, scorpions, pseudoscorpion, whip scorpion, opilion, mites, etc. Spider comprising the order Arini are the largest group among arachnids. They are abundant and diverse in many terrestrial ecosystems and taxonomically rich at family, genus and species level. You see in this photograph, this is the photograph of all the arachnids, most of the arachnids. How we can distinguish spiders? Spiders can be easily distinguished by the presence of distinct cephalothorax and abdomen, which are joined by a narrow pedicel. Cephalothorax having 6 to 8 pairs of eyes and cephalothorax having also 4 pairs of jointed legs. Abdomen having a distinct posterior spinatus. So this way, by presence of petiole, which is connecting cephalothorax and abdomen, we can easily distinguish spiders from the other arachnids where it is completely absent. So now, what is the importance of spiders? Spiders are identified as effective predators of herbivorous insect pests. They can exert considerable top-down control, often catching more insects than they actually consume. Spiders exhibit the ability to both lower as well as stabilize pest population, making them excellent biological pest management candidates. Spider silks are also equally important. Spiders used to use their silk mostly for their own uses, for dispersal, prey capture, and reproductive purposes. But researchers synthesize spider silk artificially, and such versatile material used to make bulletproof clothing, surgical threads, your artificial tendon, ligaments, etc. Likewise, spider venom has some importance. What are the importance? Spider venom pesticides have proven their quality and used as a tool in IPM practices without affecting the natural enemy complex of that particular pest. Likewise, spider venom peptide used for the development of therapeutics against wide range of pathophysiological conditions. Active protein component like GSMTX2, 4, HF7, etc. of spider venom used as a potential life-saving drugs. Spiders are also used in homeopath medicines. Tincture prepared by putting the living spider into absolute alcohol. Homeopath medicines like Tarantula hispania, Lactodactylus mactans, Arenia diadema, Lycosa tarantula, etc. used to treat several human disorders. Ground-dwelling spiders like families Lycosidae, Jodaridae, Theraphosidae, etc. are potential bioindicators for evaluating anthropogenic stresses or anthropogenic disturbances. And these are the major important fields of spider study. Now we have some idea about Western Ghats, where it is located, what is which biogeographic zone, or what is the ecosystem or habitats present in the Western Ghats. Just have a look. Western Ghats cover an area of around 1,40,000 square kilometer in a 1600 kilometer long stretch parallel to the west coast of Indian Peninsula. It traverses the state of Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Goa, Maharashtra, and very little a small part of a district of Gujarat. Western Ghats is one of the biodiversity hotspot of the world. As a result, it shows high species diversity as well as endemism. Major ecosystem includes dry and moist deciduous forest, montane rainforest, shola grassland, thorn scrub forest, mangroves, etc. It falls under the biogeographic zone 5 with two provinces, 5A or Malabar Plains and 5B or Western Ghats. Here I have presented some of the panoramic views of Western Ghats showing different habitats among Western Ghats. The photographs have been taken by our scientists of JDSI during their field survey at different parts of Western Ghats. Now, how to collect the spiders from the different ecosystem? We have to know how to collect spider, foliage dwelling spiders, or those are in the tree or bushes. Those are present in the ground, those are present in the burrow, and those are present in the top canopy. So let us see one by one. First, if you would like to collect spider from the bushes or small herbs, you have to use the bush beating method using an inverted umbrella. It is always better if you can use such type of white colored umbrella. Otherwise, you can use a cloth made beating tray also. How to collect? Holding that umbrella just inverted way underneath the low tree or bushes and beat the bush thoroughly with the help of a stick. This way you can collect the spider. The spider which will drop down into the umbrella, you can collect it through, for small spider, you can collect it using aspirator, which will suck and collect it in a clear tube. Nowadays, mechanical battery operated aspirators are also available. You can use it, and for large bodied spider, you can collect through hand or using a soft paint brush or cotton swab. From holding a tube close to the spider web also, you can also collect spiders. One thing you have to keep in mind, whatever the spider you are going to collect, you must collect the location data by using a proper GPS. GPS will give the exact locality from where you collected that spider. because that spider maybe have restricted distribution into the small particular locality, or maybe you got a new species holotype, you have a paratype, so you may need to revisit the type locality. That time this type of data will help you to go to the exact locality and to collect the spider again. Sweeping net method. This is called sweeping net method. The sweep net will be used to can be used to collect the spider present in the habitat like grasses, low jungles below the knee height, and from flowers. Sweeping during early hours and late afternoon is always beneficial, and it can also be used to collect spider from the high waves. Ground dwelling spider can also be collected by hands, but it is always better if you use these two types of traps. The left two traps are called pitfall traps, and right side two traps are called yellow pan trap. This trap will be act as a trap for collecting the spiders present in the ground. For trapping, you can use soap water or 70% alcohol, and collection can be made in alternate days on installation of this type of traps. Now, how to collect or how to extract leaf litter? For leaf litter extraction, you first have to put some trays in the leaf litter. When the leaf litter will be accumulated above the trays, then you collect those trays and do some initial sieving and transfer it in the burless funnel for 1 or 2 days using a light bulb as a source of heat. Spider that fall down through the litter to escape heat and dryness will be preserved or come into the preservative present in this glass vials. For the preservative, you can use 70% alcohol. Now, how to collect the spiders present in this type of burrow, especially tarantulas, lycosid, or other type of spiders, ground dwellings, burrowing dwelling spiders. Suppose this is the net of a spider present outside the burrow. Just give a gentle touch. The spider may think that a prey captured there, so it may come outside, you can catch. Otherwise, there is no alternative. You have to dug it, and finally you have to collect that spider. For canopy dwelling spider, this type of fogging or spraying of pesticide is required. But I am not telling you people to do this type of method, because these are not at all eco-friendly method, and you need special type of permission. You cannot operate this type of technique inside the forest ecosystem. It is against the biodiversity laws, and it may kill some other beneficial and some non-target organism. That is why this method at present, though it is a technique, but at present it is not recommended. Now, how to collect those spiders you have already collected from the field? How to preserve those spiders? The collected specimen will be preserved temporarily in 70% alcohol in a number of glass vials. Then what you have to do? You have to put proper field data in a notebook. The spider, for relaxation of their muscles, will be transferred to a petri dish and filled with 70% alcohol and keep it there for some hours. Big specimen can be stressed like this way. If you would like to do some curatorial work, then after stressing, you have to put in this type of glass vial with the support of a nice glass plate. Finally, after identification, spiders should be preserved in Oddmann's preservative. The specimen vial should be labeled properly with the what specimen you have identified, genera, species name, it is a new species, holotype, paratype data, registration number, locality, habitat details, date of collection, name of the collector, who have identified, every detail should be there. So, if somebody will come later to check your specimen or to study your specimen, it will be easy for them also. And then finally, species wise or genera wise or family wise, keep it like this way. Put a little cotton where just below the glass, just below the vials or big drums or vials, and put all the same species or the same genera inside that. If you do like this, sometimes the jerking, the alcohol may gone and specimen will be dried up. So this is the exact method. This is the some of the useful vial as according to the size of the spiders you can use. But the epigynum and the pedipalp, which I will discuss, the genital system of the spider, should be preserved in this type of Graham tube and keep it along with the spider specimen you have already identified. For a molecular study, you need to preserve the spider in molecular grade 90% ethanol and stored in -20°C temperature, only for molecular study. Otherwise, it is not required. Now I am coming to give a brief outline on the morphology of the spiders. As I told, spiders' body is divisible into cephalothorax and abdomen joined by a narrow pedicel. Eyes are the very important characteristics, not only for prey capture, not for their adaptive value, not for their make them successful, but also to identify them in family, genus, species level, especially family and genus level. Then you see 4 eyes are usually present in the front row or anterior row, 4 eyes usually present in the posterior row. These are 2 middle eyes and posteromedian, posterolateral, anteromedians, anterolaterals. So this arrangement of eyes may vary. Here it is in 2 rows, 1 row, 2 row. Sometimes it may be in 3 rows. Sometimes the size of the eyes may vary. Sometimes the position of the eyes may vary. So by this way, we can categorize the families. At the same time, size of the cephalothorax, size of the abdomen, coloration pattern, presence of different structures, modification is also responsible to distinguish them in the family and genus level. At the same time, structure of chelicera is also very much important. Presence of cheliceral teeth, cheliceral size, etc. important characteristics for spider identification. Spider leg having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 segmented leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 segmented leg. This 7 segment sometimes modified, sometimes the structure of the leg varies. Presence of spination patterns, presence of scopuli, presence of hair, presence of different special structure help us to identify in generic and species level. In case of spiders, males are usually smaller in size and you can easily distinguish male. In case of males, the pedipalp, this is called pedipalp. After 4 pairs of legs, there is a pedipalp. This pedipalp is modified to form a special type of genital structure in case of male spider. But in case of female, this type of genital pedipalp is very simple, not modified to form this type of pulpal structure. But the epigynum structure, it is present just above the epigastric furrow in the ventral portion of the abdomen. Epigynum is modified to form that female genital structure, epigynum and internal genitalia. You have to dissect this part out and put it in 10% KOH for some time, then you will get visible this type of structure, and this is the internal portion of the structure, which having spermatheca, fertilization duct, copulatory duct and copulatory opening. Critical examination of the structure of internal genitalia of female and pulp of male is essential for identification of taxa at generic and species level. Spinneret is also an important part of spider taxonomy. Size of the spinneret, number of the spinneret, position of the spinneret is also a valuable feature for identification of spider, which I will discuss. Here you see, as I told, this is a Nephila female. You see the size of the female, and here you see the size of the male. You see the size of the male is only a size of the head of the female. So males are mostly smaller in size, not always not that much smaller, but usually smaller in size than the female. Here I have presented the present scenario of the spider of world in the left side as well as India in the right side. In the world, you can find around 49,000 spider species so far identified under 128 families. But in India, around 1854 species identified under 61 families. So, India represents around 4% of the total spider reported from the world. The number of spider species known from India have risen steadily from 1067 reported by Tikadar in 1987. Now the present it is reached up to 1854 under 474 genera distributed over 61 families known from our country. Before initiating the detailed discussion, if I will not tell at least few sentences on the contribution of the Indian arachnologists for this for their tremendous contribution in Indian arachnology, if I will not tell, so the presentation will be incomplete. Our knowledge on Indian spider fauna started from 1864. During that year, Blackwell described 7 spider species from East India. He was followed by Cambridge, Thorel, Pocock, Simon, Sheriffs, Wisomar, Gravely, Dayal. They added considerably to the knowledge of Indian spiders, especially in the pre-independence period where it was as a part of British India. Maybe some of the species that time described from Burma as well as a part of Lahore, Pakistan also. Dayal also describes this type of species. Pocock also described. But post-independence period study started with the publication of Dr. Sinha. I must take the name of late Dr. Binoy Krishna Tikadar, ex-director of JDSI, for his major contribution in Indian arachnology during the period of 1961 to 1988. In the last 3-4 decades, Dr. Patel, Dr. Raichaudhuri and his team, Dr. Sebastian and his team, Dr. Siliwal and her team, Dr. Biswas, Dr. Mojumdar, Dr. Gojbe, Dr. Bastawade, Dr. Vankare, Dr. Midjan, Dr. Sanap, Dr. Sudhikumar and his team, Dr. Joshe and his team, Dr. Unial and his team, Dr. Khaled, Dr. Das, Dr. Kulkarni, Dr. Deshpande, Dr. Karthikeyani, Dr. Chakraborty, Dr. Bosumatari and other arachnologists, those maybe I missed, contributed a lot to enrich our knowledge on spider fauna of India. And the scientist's name I marked with yellow color, they contributed a lot to the fauna of Western Ghats. This is the situation in Western Ghat. In Western Ghat, altogether 43 families reported. In India, total 61 families present. Out of these, 43 families are present in Western Ghat. Of these, 4 families are present in under intra-order Mygalomorphae, and other 39 families, or most of the families, are present under Arenomorphae. Now let us check how we can distinguish the Mygalomorph and Arenomorph. You can easily distinguish that Mygalomorph and Arenomorph spider. In case of Mygalomorph, the cheliceraal fans will move parallel. You see, this way it is moving. But here, in case of Arenomorph, it will always move parallel. It's that diaxially. This way it will move. But here it will move this way. But in case of Mygalomorph, the book lung is always 2 pairs. But in case of Arenomorph, book lung is single pair. Spinneret usually 2 pairs. Spinneret morphology is different. Here in case spinneret is 3 pair. Middle spinneret is not visible from this photograph. Spinneret is 3 pair. Some other characteristics feature presence of lastellans, presence of some kind of scopulum, in the presence of special kind of cheliceraal modification, maxillary modification, which is also a characteristic features of some of the families of Mygalomorph, which is completely absent in case of Arenomorph. Now I am coming to the intra-order Mygalomorph. So far 53 species reported under this intra-order from Western Ghat under 17 genera distributed over 4 families. Most of the species are reported from the family Theraphosidae. Those are known for tarantulas. What is the habitat of this bigelomorph? Bigelomorph either you will find in ground burrowing forms or arboreal nesting. Bigelomorph prefer undisturbed forest and wooded areas. Idiopedy, Barichellidae live in burrows having trap door. They are having some kind of lead, cork type lead in their burrows. Barichellidae and Idiopedy. But they during the daytime they usually found at the bottom of the burrows. Most of the members of the family Theraphosidae construct silk-lined burrow. You can see here some silken layer is there, some silk-lined burrow or silk-lined retreats under the stones and rocks. Some species of Theraphosidae primarily prefer old trees in forest and peak of bamboo plantation. Here you can see last time I have collected one spider. You see here was the burrow and the spider we could detect around 2.5 feet from the position of that burrow. Like this was the burrow, some position of this burrow. So sometimes you need to dig the burrow to collect this type of spider. They are very aggressive. You need some kind of bigger size fossil which we use to collect sometimes of lizards or other amphibians. Among the Mygelomorph, Theraphosids are the most successful groups. Why Theraphosids are most successful groups? Because they have a very excellent tarsal claw and tarsal scopulae as well as claw trap, which help in better prey handle. That is why the Theraphosid is most successful group. Further, they have a special defensive mechanism having articulating hair which help in a special type of defense. Here in the few slides I will show some of the interesting characters of this family, this infraorder Mygelomorph, which will help you to differentiate as well as to identify the different families of Mygelomorph. Here you see the eye pattern, different as I told. Here you see the eye pattern, here you see the eye pattern. So position of the eyes, size of the eyes, number of the eyes is always play an important role. Then structure of the spinneret, size of the spinneret, this is also an important character. Then presence of tarsal claw, maybe 2, maybe 3, or if it is dented, here you find some dentation, here no dentation is present, but tarsal scopulae is present, distinct claw tuft is present. This way we can distinguish family to one family to another family. Here you see the modification of the Chelicerae. Here you see presence of distinct rastellum in some families like Idiopedy, but here no such type of rastellum is present. But special type of hair structure, spineulosis is present. Here you see the maxilla. Maxilla is sometimes having some kind of anterior lobe, sometimes having some kind of small structure called cuspicules, sometimes having maxillary lyra. It may be present or absent. The number, the position, the structure may vary. Leg spination, a presence of hairs, presence of hair patterns, presence of special type of trichobothrium hair, presence of special type of spines. It helps to identify us the different 4-bit families what I have mentioned from one to another. But finally, you have to confirm the species on the basis of internal study of genital system of male as well as female. These are the distribution of different Mygelomorph families in different states of Western Ghats. You can check it. So far, 565 species reported under the infraorder Arenomorphae, which are distributed over 250 genera and 39 families. Among these, the dominant family is family Salticidae, followed by Arenidae, Thomisidae, Lythosidae, Laphosidae. In the next few slides, I am going to discuss some of the major and important families, because all families in this small period of time it is not possible to discuss. I will discuss some of the important interesting families, and I will show some easy characteristics by which in the field itself or after coming watching in a simple binocular also you can identify at least up to the family level. In my This slides, you can also notice the left corner of these slides in the next all slides, where you find the scenario present in India of this particular family, and I will tell about the Western Ghats. Salticidi is also known as jumping spiders because they are capable of jumping or leaping to a distance. Here you see carefully, here eyes present in 3 rows. This is 1 row, this is 2 row, this is 3rd row, 3 rows. And you see the anterior median is the biggest, largest, and it is very highly specialized pair of eyes. These ocelli have impressive optical properties, especially this anterior median, and it helps for his stalking type of behavior. Because of these eyes and because of the jumping behavior, Salticid family is the most successful families in the world. In the world, it is having highest number of species. In India also, it is having highest number of species. So throughout the world, it is distributed, and because of this special type of adaptive significance, it is the most successful group in the world. Now, what are the other characters? It is, you see here, the eyes almost cover this cephalic position, more of the cephalic area. Anterior median is highest, followed by anterolateral, and posterior median, this is small eyes. These are usually smallest. This way, you can easily identify the salticid spider. Suppose when you are watching a salticid spider, say finger one side of the spider, the head of the spider you will find slowly rotating and following the fingers. Jumping spider pursue their prey by staking, chasing, and leaping over it. They can jump a long distance also. 86 species under 49 genera known from Western Ghats. Here you can see some of the representative genera I have presented. This is a newly discovered genera Indopadilla from the Western Ghats areas. Some of the salticids are also mimicking, and they are present either in the genus Myrmaplata or Myrmarachni. They used to feed on ants also. And here I have presented the distribution of the family Salticidae in different states of Western Ghats. Obviously in Kerala, the highest number of species recorded. Now, the next family, Arenidae. Arenidae used to construct this type of orb wave, typical orb wave that is suspended by one or more pairs of threads from an object such as grass, leaves, branches. When any insect get trapped in the web, the spider rushes to get the prey. Otherwise, you will find it as a remained upside down position and wait for his prey. Except the genus Cetrophora, all are making this type of typical orb web. What are the other characteristic pattern? Distinct homogeneous eyes. The median one are very close, lateral one widely separated. Epigynum having this type of some scape-like structure. Scape, either sclerotized, dark color or light color, this kind of scape is present. Various pattern of abdomen you can see. Variation, very much variability. But the abdomen usually overhanging the cephalothorax. So this way you can distinguish the family Arenidae, which are distributed under 26 genera, and so far 78 species reported from Western Ghats. And they are actually true orb weavers. Here I have presented the distribution of these Arenid families in different states of Western Ghats. Now, the family Thomisidae. Family Thomisidae you can easily identify by the presence of their crab-like appearance. You see some kind of crab-like appearance. That is why it is known as crab spiders. They used to camouflage with the leaves, flowers, bark, and chelicerae of these spiders, crab spiders, usually without any teeth. Legs laterigate means it is parallelly positioned, and usually first and second legs are stout and much longer than these two legs. This gives them a crab-like appearance. So far 48 species are reported from Western Ghats area under 26 genera. These are the some of the typical crab spider. You see all legs, typical crab-like appearance. These are the different genus, representative genus are present in Western Ghats. Now the family Sparicidae. These are nothing but the giant crab spider. Their size are much bigger, more stout body, legs are more stout, more spiny, but the front legs are more or less like crab-like appearance, you can see. But they are chelicerae having distinct teeth, which is absent in the crab spider or Thomisidae. Further, tarsi is spiny and metatarsi ventrally with thick scopulae. Color of the body, you can see with their color, they can easily camouflage with the bark or other materials. They are represented by 30 species under 8 genera from Western Ghats. Now, the family Lycosidae or wool spider. Carefully see, you will find what I saw in the salty sea. These two eyes are much bigger, but here you see these two eyes are smaller. All 4 eyes in the anterior row are smaller in size. But the posterior pair is recurved. That is why forming 3 rows. First row, second row, third row. And the posterior pair of eyes are much bigger than anterior eyes. That is why it is also very good in the predatory behavior. And you see this posterior pair is strongly recurved, anterior pair mostly straight. Usually the posterior median eyes is usually larger than the other. Their chelicerae is very strong. Most of the wool spiders are nocturnal. Large lycosid make burrows in the ground and the others make silken retreat in the grass. They have good vision and are very good predators, as I already mentioned. So much 43 species are reported under 12 genera. This is another interesting group of spider, Oxiope. Here also eyes are 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pairs of eyes, 8 eyes. But you see eyes form a hexagon. Here also, all here you see eyes forming a hexagon. Anteromedian is very smaller. Anterior row of eyes strongly recurved. Posterior row of eyes strongly procurved. That make a formation of hexagonal structure. And among that, anteromedian is always very small. You can see. So, lynx spider are so called because of the way in which they hunt the prey. They usually present in foliage of shrubs and herbs. They make no web for capturing their prey and also a good predators like salticid and lycosid. Some Oxyopes and Pucetia, 2 genera reported. That 2 genera can be distinguished by the presence or absence of retromarginal chelicerae teeth in the fangs and color of their bodies. Another interesting group of family Herschelidae or two-tailed spider. Why the name came two-tailed? You see here, they are usually camouflaged with the trees or trunks and very fast running. They are very much fast running, active hunting spider. Sometimes make silken retreats in the bark or trees. Always you will find this type of spider 90% of the cases in the bark of the trees and mimicking with the color of the bark, camouflage. But how to distinguish? You see the spinneret structure, how big the spinneret is, especially the posterior spinneret. You see, I have highlighted from the original photograph, all taken by us, non-internet downloaded photographs. This is from the posterior spinneret, how big the posterior spinneret, long posterior spinneret. Cylindrical, and especially the apical segment of the posterior spinneret is very long and elongated. Sometimes as long as abdomen, or you see some as long as abdomen, or sometimes longer than the abdomen. This way very easily you can identify these spiders. These spiders having both recurved rows, and that is why eyes forming 3 rows, 2 strongly recurved rows. They are very active and very fast moving spider, that is why difficult for catching. Only 3 species known from Western Ghats under 2 genera. Here you see one interesting feature. Here not 8 eyes are absent, only 6 eyes are present, but all 6 eyes 2 in pairs in 3 groups. 6 eyes but in 3 groups. And the structure of the cephalothorax is more or less dome shaped, little bit dome type of structure. These are called Scytodid spider or Scytodidae family. There is a specificity of this spider. What is this? These are the only spider known to possess the prosomal gland that produce gluey silk. Prosomal gland that produce gluey silk. They first glue the prey substrate and then paralyzed by utilizing the venom. Hello? Anything wrong? Okay.
So, sir, someone is
Sir, please
there.
share again. Sir, your PPT
May
is not
I
visible.
start the
Please share again.
presentation? May I restart the presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Somebody in between tried. Yeah, that is right. Okay. Okay, I am restarting. Okay, no problem.
Now, from this slide.
I think I was here, no?
Yes.
Yes. So they have some typical behavior. These are the only spider known to possess some kind of prosomal gland that produce gluey silk. The prey is glued to the substance and paralyzed by the venom. They are known from Western Ghat by only 3 species under 2 genera. This is another interesting spider you will find only in the leaf litter. They have also 6 eyes, but all 6 eyes are grouped together. That is the difference. You see the last slide, separate, but here it is grouped together, and abdomen is usually enclosed in some kind of dorsal or ventral seal. So far 13 species are reported under 4 genera. These are the false-seed spider, or known as daddy long leg spider, because of their extremely long, slender, thin, fragile legs. Further, their eyes either 6 or 8, and 3 eyes present for one group, another 3 eyes for another group. If anteromedian present, then it will be positioned here. If this spider, it is absent. So either 6 or 8 eyes, 3 eyes make a one group. If anteromedian present, it will be positioned here. And presence of distinct that fragile pseudo-segmented leg, with this you can easily distinguish this type of spiders. They build irregular webs in dark places of house, garden, forest, etc., in which they hang with back downward. 5 species known from this family from Western Ghat. Tetragnatha, they are also orb-weaving spider, long-jawed. Why long-jawed? You see the chelicera fangs are usually little bit longer in size, but not all the genera. But maxilla and labium is always usually longer in size. But in Tetragnatha genus, it is specially developed to a strong and long chelicerae with long cheliceral fangs. Here are on also the abdomen, if you can see, you will find some kind of silvery decoration and presence of distinct tetragnathic type eye. We can differentiate these spiders from the other families. So far 28 species are known under 11 genera. This is another interesting spider families of Pisauridae, nursery OS spiders. They are their trochanter having some kind of notch, and eyes on tubercles, stalked eyes usually, and ringed with black. Posterior row usually recurved, anterior row usually procurved or straight, and they have some wandering spider which stalk their prey and make way only for the nurseries. That is why called nursery way spider. Mostly they prefer marshy places, but some of them may be found in dry places also. 8 species known under 6 genera. Family Corinidae. These are sometimes mimicking to the mutilid or ant-like hymenopteran groups. Cephalothorax, you see, oval cephalothorax and highly sclerotized. Eyes usually 8 in 2 rows. Tarsi always with some kind of trichoborthia. Abdomen oval or elongate oval, and usually with some kind of transverse band. They usually mimic with the hymenopteran family Mutilidae. They are usually ground dweller. While walking, the abdomen moves up and down, and the front legs are held in the air to mimic the antenna of Hymenoptera. That is why they are sometimes mimicking with the Mutilidae or ants. So far, 9 species reported from Western Ghat under 6 genera. Here in Gnaphocid, you can easily distinguish by the presence of anterior spinnerets. Anterior spinnerets very large, parallel to each other, and cylindrical and well separated. You can see well separated. These are anterior spinneret, well separated. Here these are close, well separated, cylindrical and large, and posterior median eyes usually little bit flat type. Predominantly they are nocturnal and found in leaf litter, beneath the rocks and within an underground the decomposing wood. So far 41 species reported under 19 genera. Some of the representatives I have presented here. I am not elaborating that all the family characters, all the things. I am going slowly towards the summary or discussion areas. So how you can make a good taxonomic diagram or description whenever you are studying a species? You have to give a full view of the spider head, the dorsal view of the spider including cephalothorax and abdomen, ventral view of the spider. If any specific characters is present, that you have to highlight, and finally the genitalic character you have to highlight, you have to mark, and if required you need to go for line drawing. Line drawing is important to highlight the specific characters of the spermatheca or whatever the genitalic characters present. For that type of photograph, you need this type of good kind of stereo zoom binocular microscope having staking type of facility, or it is always better if you have such type of montage kind of software, so it will give you this type of beautiful images. Here are also some of the arenid, and this is Thomisis spider. You see, always genitalia is important for critical analysis or critical evaluation of this and to go for the conclusion of the spider species, that it will be that species. You need to study genitalia. That is why sometimes people are sending me photographs, but I could not identify up to species level because of the genitalia study. I cannot see the genitalia. By showing this photograph, I can identify only family or in some cases genera up to genera, but I cannot identify up to species level. Now, spiders have cannibalistic tendency. We all are aware. They feed on other spiders and even members of their own species. But members of the genus Stygodyphus of the family Iricidae are known for their social behavior. The social behavior is evident from the number of individuals taking part in one hunting or sucking of a single prey. They construct very large web on the leaves, branches of trees in which hundreds of individuals live together. Cephalothorax usually rectangular shape and eyes, medial eyes closer and other eyes are little bit away from the middle eyes. So far 6 species of the social spider reported from India. Out of these 4 species present in Western Ghat. So this is the only social spider present in the world. Aquatic spiders. Is there any aquatic spider species in India? No. My answer is no. Sometimes I am getting some queries. Sometimes I have seen in Facebook also, people used to tell that Argynoneta aquatica is the aquatic spider. Yes, it is aquatic spider, but it is not present in India. It is present in China, Central Asia and other part of world, but not till date reported from India. In Indian spiders, some of the families, as reported by Dhali and Sureshan 2017, 6 species under 6 genera distributed over 3 families are reported as semi-aquatic, not aquatic, semi-aquatic. They live on the vegetations of the margin of the freshwater, stream, rivers, lakes, etc. In case of Argynoneta, their behavior is different. When they are submerged, they trap an air bubble by a dense layer of hydrophobic air on its abdomen and leg, through which they get the oxygen supply. As it is not in India, I am not going for the detailed description. But in case of Western Ghat, among the 3 families, this Lycosidae and Pisaurid are present. Pisaurid is very typical, especially Pisaurids. They can freely run over the surface of the water, pursuit of their prey, and mostly hide under floating leaves or other objects. Usual food to them is insect, but sometimes they can catch small size fish also. So this is the picture of aquatic spiders in India as well as in Western Ghat. Now I am going to present the distribution of some of the important spider families in different states of Western Ghat. Here I am not going to explain, you just have a look, like Tinidae, Gnaphosidae, Hercelidae, Linyphiidae, some of the spider families I discussed also in details with the photographs. Here I have presented Lycosidae, Oxyophidae, Polseed and Pisaurid. Just have a look what is the distribution, how they are distributed in the states of Western Ghats. Here's Paraseed, Tetragnathidae, Theridiidae, Thomisidae, some of the Paraseed, Thomisidae, Tetragnathidae I discussed. Here are some of the 11 rarely of the spider families represented by 1 or 2 in the 1 or 2 species. Graph represents the diversity spectrum of the spider taxa recorded from Western Ghat. Altogether 618 species altogether. Altogether 618 species under 267 genera and 43 families have been reported from the entire belt of Western Ghat. The present data is representing around 33% of the total spider reported from India. 33%, 1/3 of the spider, Indian spider, reported from this hotspot area. Here I have presented the family-wise distribution of different species. 43 families are present. Distribution of species in these 43 families. Most of the species are reported from the family Salticidae, followed by Arenidae, Thomisidae, Lycosidae, Gnaphosidae, Theraposidae, Parasidae, so on. Just have a look. What is this? Here I have shown the number of species present under different families in 5A and 5B provinces. As in the Western Ghat slides I told you, Western Ghat having 2 provinces, one is Malabar Plains and one is Western Ghat, 5A and 5B. What I found and what it is telling that the Western Ghat province has high diversity compared to Malabar province. It is easily distinguishable from this graph. Highest number of spider taxa reported from Kerala, followed by Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Goa, part of Western Ghat. Highest number of species, though Kerala is a small state, but most of the work has been done from Kerala. That is why highest number of species reported from Kerala. What about the endemism? Western Ghat is known for high species diversity and endemism. What about the spider endemicity or endemism? 46% of the spider taxa reported exclusively from Western Ghat. Due to habitat preference, Mygalomorphs have shown around 81% endemism. Maximum number of endemic species are reported from the family Salticidae, followed by Theraposidae, Gnaphosidae, Thomisidae, Parasidae, Arenidae, and so on. Just have a look. Gill structure analysis reveals 7 feeding gills. The dominant guild is constituted by the ground runners, including the families Theraposidae, Iliophidae, Barichellidae, Jodaridae, Lycosidae, Tinidae, Leocranidae, etc. Followed by odd weavers, including Arenid, Tetragnathidae, Uloborid, stalkers, including Oxyopid, Salticid, Mametid, while the sheet wave builders like Irasidae, Sarsidae, Titanosidae, etc., they form the Trachelidae, etc., they form the lowest gill type actually. And this gill structure we have studied following the literature support of Uttej et al., Sudhi Kumar et al. For this study. What are the present threats to the spiders of Western Ghats? Habitat fragmentation and degradation are the major threats to spiders because they are microhabitat specialists. Habitat alteration and degradation can have a major impact on small population or highly localized species of mygalomorphs. So mygalomorphs are more threatened. Pollution and unplanned urban development are also responsible to decline their population. Sometimes you will find large bodied tarantula or some kind of irritating spiders or even sometimes small spider whenever coming to our human habitation, we immediately kill that spider due to lack of education, fear or myth. But it is true, there is no death record of the tarantula bite or other type of parasite bite. These are not actually lethal, so we have to educate people. We should not distract or we should not kill that type of spiders. This is also a loss of our biodiversity. We are all aware about the devastating effect of the forest fire in recent times. You have seen in different parts of the globe. So obviously it is very much harmful to all groups of spiders. Agricultural lands are often close vicinity of the forest as well as agricultural land extension is going on. Too much use of synthetic pesticide not only kill natural enemies population and also affected other non-target organisms in surrounded forest areas also. Especially in Western Ghat, where tea and coffee cultivation is very popular because of their commercial value. Pesticide use, if proper protective measures have not taken and too much doses or too much synthetic pesticide use, it may be responsible for declination of the spider populations. 14 species of Theraposis spiders were listed in the IUCN Red List. Among these, 11 species are reported so far from Western Ghat area. Here you can check the details.